to give you some background then, I did a PhD at the University of Oxford in 1989, and that's going to become very relevant in what we're going to talk about today. We then did a start-up company in Oxford in 1990, which we sold in medical imaging. So that was around breast imaging and brain imaging, as it turned out. And we sold that company in 2003 to Siemens, which one I moved over to New Zealand. The last 5 years I've been consulting to New Zealand breast screening, to a whole pile of US companies and a few UK companies all around breast imaging. So here I am in New Zealand, and I realise that the market now, in the US in particular, is now ready for the products we tried to build in 1989 around breast imaging. But I'm a consultant, I'm getting well paid for consulting, it's a nice, easy, safe job. So one of the things then I was sitting there thinking, well, I'm doing all this great consulting, but wasn't it fun actually building products, actually going out there onto a worldwide stage and selling those products? And we sat around, I talked to my partner at the time, and we said, right, now's the time we need to jump. And then this is one of the things I think entrepreneurs do all the time. Occasionally, you're worried about if I start a company, I'm not going to get paid any money for it. Right? In my case now for 2 years, right? But every now and then, if you believe in your idea, just shut your eyes and jump, right, and go for it. I think that's very important. So even though I've done this before in Oxford, second time around, again, it was still very hard. So I recognise a lot of you guys, it's very hard. But have faith in yourself, shut those eyes, and just jump. Right? First point I was going to make, first tip was you're not alone, and it was a huge benefit to me at the start to find in Wellington. There was a lot of groups like Grow Wellington was extremely useful, and also the Business Mentor Association in Wellington. Okay? It was very important for me and very useful for me to find someone objective and impartial to talk to. And I think in Grow Wellington and the Business Mentor setup, you've got those in Wellington to work through. Now, the remit for me tonight was to talk about taking work from the university, really, or from a lab through to product. So I've got a whole set of points here around science. Okay? Scientists believe, I am fundamentally a scientist, okay? And when you're a scientist, you believe you've got the best idea in the world, you're going to take this to the market and you're going to do it all yourself, okay? And the harsh reality is, as much as I hate to admit it 10 years ago, and it's still true now, you do need marketing people. You do need business people. Okay? And the other fact is as well, so we've got, we truly believe we've got some of the best ideas around breast cancer detection and diagnosis in the world, okay? But also we realise as academics that these ideas were never ever going to help women around the world unless there was a successful commercial business built around those ideas, okay? So scientists, you need commercial advice and you need market focus. It was mentioned earlier about knowing your market, okay? I actually dressed like this for purpose today. I'm actually dressed, Matakina is an American company. Okay? We're based over here in the Eye Centre. Our market is the US medical market. I am dressed like the Americans do. Okay? Whenever I go to America, whenever I go to business meetings, I dress like the Americans to try and focus on what they do. I even do stuff like, I try and watch the ABC News on Sky just to know what's going on in America, just so I know the market a bit more, and I've got stuff to relate to those guys. So know your market, talk to them. And there's been a lot of conversation about talking to people. Talk to people, but don't always believe them. I always remember back in Oxford, we brought 10 experts over from the US to Oxford, and one of them swore blind that the idea that actually really took off for us in Oxford was never ever going to work in medical imaging, never. And he was a leading professor at the University of California, San Diego, one of the top radiologists in the world. Anyway, we listened to him, and he left, and then we ignored him, and we did it, and we were all happy. So talk, but just accept that you're going to get different advice from people. Scientists, you don't need your ideas to be perfect to take them out there. Get them to a stage where they're working to a reasonable level, and then take it out to the market. And the market will then help take what you've got and form it into the product that it should be. Think about the outcomes for us. There's no point us adding lots of breast imaging tools if the woman is still going to go through to having a biopsy. Okay? So in America, for example, radiologists and surgeons are scared of being sued. Okay? So they're worried that woman is going for a biopsy, and they are not going to pay for a 50,000 piece of equipment if that's not going to stop her going for biopsy. It might produce some interesting new numbers for them, it might give them a bit more confidence, but they need the confidence to stop that biopsy before they'll buy that piece of equipment. So think about how your science or how your product's actually going to change outcomes. Timing. So as I mentioned, I did a PhD in 1989, okay, all about quantification of breast tissue. 10 years later, we tried to commercialise that, and we realised after 6 months that actually it was too hard to commercialise because at that point, breast imaging was all done on film. Okay? But my realisation sort of about 2 years ago was actually most of the market is now digital, which makes all the ideas we had in 1989 so much easier to do. So we said, right, now is the time to do it. So that's a good example there. It took 20 years for the science to become commercial reality. In terms of bright ideas, especially in science, assume someone else has already had your idea, okay, or some idea very, very close to your idea. I do believe in science, IP is critical. Angela? But also, scientists often, you often publish papers, for example, and you can give your ideas away, so just be very careful about IP. And especially around sciencey areas, you do need IP. And that doesn't have to be full patents. You can start with provisional patents, which are a lot cheaper to start with, and then proceed forward to full patents. Another word we've heard a lot about today is company. There's a reason you form a company. There's a reason the word company actually means. Company does not mean one person alone. Right? Company means a group of people teaming up for a common purpose, and I think that's very important. And I'm very happy to be a part of a company where there's a professor at the University of Oxford, Toronto, Nijmegen. There's a couple of very talented people in Wellington, all involved in that company. You can do it alone, but it makes it extremely hard, very, very stressful, and you're better off having someone else to talk to. You do have to accept your control is going to be diluted, but if you lose 10% of the company, but you gain twice the value of the company by having this person involved in their ideas, then hey, do it. That's it. That's my tips.